And when you do this process of sitting there in utter silence, it transforms your ego, right? The ego that has all of its problems and is trying to be important and complains and so forth. that doesn't want to go. And so when you sit there in silence and you just be the silence instead of the ego doesn't like it. And it so all these emotions come up, and it's really, so the way I think of it now is that all that energy that's in this dysfunctional ego, tons of energy there that's in all of us. We're born with it, and so it's just nobody's fault. It's just the way, it's just the human condition. But all that energy, as you look at it, just watch it. You don't condemn it. You don't try to get away from it. You don't think about it. You just watch it. And that's enough. Just all you need to do is no big deal. You're already the pure consciousness. You already are that. That's what you are. So all this other stuff that's coming up is just raw energy that you just look at, and it gets transformed into your pure consciousness. But and it depends on the person. I mean, some people, it happens overnight. They just go from ego to no ego overnight. I mean, it's not very many, but there are some like Eckhart Tolle,
Yes.
overnight, completely. Whereas someone like Don Hoffman, I've been at it for 30,000 hours and 20 years and 20 plus years. And so, you could say, well, maybe my ego was a lot worse than Eckhart Tolle's. And I don't know, maybe it might be, but I suspect that he was somehow able to let go in a much deeper way than I've been able to let go. And most people are more like me, I think, that it's a gradual process and at times painful, but then it's very helpful at that point to actually have someone that's been through it ahead of time to talk with, because sometimes the death of the ego feels like the death of you, because you still identify with the ego, so it feels quite painful. It's this, you might say, well, this is just spiritual stuff, but what about the science? And it seems to me that there's a deep connection between this and the science, in the sense that right now our science is based on a physicalist assumption that space-time is fundamental, and what we are fundamentally are just objects in space-time. And consciousness is a latecomer. And we have to figure out which physical objects might have consciousness and which don't, and what physical properties of systems create consciousness and which don't. And that is the framework of the ego. The ego thinks of itself as a small little object, and it needs to get its significance somehow. And so that's what we're letting go of, and recognizing that almost for obvious logical reasons, I'm not just something that I perceive in space and time, like a body or a person or something like that. I am the ability to perceive. That's what I am, is the ability to perceive. And among the things I perceive is something that I call my body, which is just an avatar in this VR that I'm creating. And so it's a one way to think about it is it's a change. If you're playing an immersive virtual reality game, you put on a headset and bodysuit, and if you go into the game knowing that your avatar in the game is not you, that's just your avatar in the game, and if it gets shot up, if it gets put in perilous situations, enjoy it. I mean, there's no, you in some sense, you really have no skin in the game, right? That's just your avatar. It's not you. But if you are identified with the avatar, then it's a completely different kind of game, right? Now, anything that attacks the avatar is going to get a huge emotional response out of you. You're going to be scared. You're going to be sweating. It's a completely different thing. And so it's a real question, the scientific question. Is space and time fundamental? And are objects inside space and time fundamental reality? Or is space and time not fundamental and something else is deeper? This is a deep scientific question. And so this deep scientific question parallels this question in science and in spirituality, which is the ego's view of the world correct? I'm a little object in space and time. I need to try to make myself meaningful, and I need to compete with you to be more meaningful, more important, more special than you, and so forth, before my 80 years are up and I'm gone. And then that's the end of me. So I'm trying desperately to make some sense and meaning out of my life, given that I know that I'm just this little tiny object in space-time, and I'm only here for under a century, which is a flash in the pan. So I feel like I'm a flash in the pan, and I'd like to be more. And so it's a, so I need to get a better car than you, better house than you, whatever it might be, more publications than you if you're an academic, whatever it might be. Show that I'm smarter than you and know more music than you, can play tennis better, whatever it might be. We do it in 1,000 different ways, trying to get significance. So that's one view of the world. Another view of the world is, hey, I am an infinite consciousness, and so are you. In fact, you're the same infinite consciousness as me. We're just the same consciousness looking at itself through different avatars. And that's the source of true love. I mean, I don't need to compete with you because I am you and you are me. And that's the foundation for true love.
Hello everyone, I hope you're well. If you enjoyed that clip, please do go and find the longer version on the channel. And if you enjoy clips like this or conversations with a guest similar to this, please feel free to subscribe, as there will be more conversations with guests similar to the one you've just listened to. So yeah, have a lovely day and thank you.